Well, greetings everybody, and welcome again to this week's edition of the Inworld Review. A fully 18 minutes late going live, actually, and if you actually rely on the going live signal, then you'll probably be another 15 minutes before you actually get the signal and log in or get the message. Nah, who knows? Who cares? Really, you can play this thing back at any time you want. At least I'm not one of the people that actually posted this show and this date 3 weeks before. That really would confuse you, I'm sure. Anyway, my name is Mal Burns. I'm the compere, the host of the show. On my left-hand side, my wonderful co-host, Tosha Tyran. Welcome, Tosha.
Hi, welcome. Welcome, Mel. Welcome, James. Welcome, everybody out there.
Yay.
Indeed. And on my right-hand side, the right-hand man. Go figure. He of the knobs and sits. James Atlloud. Welcome, James.
Oh, thank you, Mal. This is fun. After a lot of changes from our last location, I think we're all up and running.
Indeed. My apologies to... I hope I didn't give anybody heart attacks or break any mirrors or anything last week. I mean, if you did see the show, we were on a very similar location to this, but it wasn't the same place. The scripts worked differently. Nothing worked quite right. And thanks to an error before we went on air, my hat and my glasses were sort of brilliant red. And they looked like something out of, we'll science fiction role play, maybe. I think it was too horrible. Too horrible to be science fiction, really. Anyway, that's that. Now, this is the Inworld Review, of course. This is a show where we look at the arts, people, and places way across the whole hypergrid. And the hypergrid, for those of you who don't know, is a system by which virtual worlds, 3D worlds like this, all connect up so you can take your inventory around and jump between different grids, different virtual worlds in effect. And some regions like schools and things are actually locked down so that the kids can't jump out into other areas and things like that. But by and large, it's all connected as one mesh, with the sole exception of the world that actually sort of started it all, which is Lindenworld. Oh, sorry, Second Life, as it's called now. We're a distant cousin, basically. But they're a walled garden. They are run by a corporation, and no amount of saying we want to engage with communities is going to help them do that if they don't actually open up the gates so that you can actually, I mean, after all, you know, it's not like getting on an aeroplane and hypergridding somewhere else. It's like getting on an aeroplane, crashing in the ocean, drowning, and then having to come back to life and enter a new parallel universe to get to that world. It's not simple. You close your viewer, you launch another viewer. So interop is not the thing there. Anyway, I'm beginning to rant, so I better get on with the thing again. Anyway, as usual, we tend to look at the beginning of the show, the sort of review of Hypergrid Adventures. But Hypergrid Adventures, which is a thing run by Tosha Ember, is out of season at the moment. It'll be back in January. But last week on Wednesday, we all didn't know what to do with ourselves. What? No safari? No safari. Gosh, golly. So, yeah, there was no safari. So, hence, there is no, despite what the screen says, there's no safari roundup. Or is there? Well, one thing we can rely on is that Thursday will continue with her blog regardless. And she had 3 posts this week, none of which were safari roundups, of course. They were just interesting posts about people she knows on the grid. This first one here, let me try and switch back to was all about Tina Bay, who we see a lot of on Safari, a wonderful lady. She's I've always wanted to get her on the show here, but she's doesn't really speak English very well, and she's very nervous about coming on. So kind of unfortunate. These pictures, anyway, are pictures that those who talk in various regions. The Pangea grid here will be. Yes.
She really does some very, very beautiful work, and well worth it to go see it if you ever have an occasion, a possibility. Go.
22nd of November. I'll try and remember this one actually. Okay, we haven't got Hypergrid happenings on at the moment, but this slide actually will. We should. You can consider this a brief Hypergrid happening because 22nd of November is how many days away? Is that? That's about 5 days away, I think. So yes, try and remember that one. Okay, it's on Hypergrid. Hypergrid, or one word, .de and colon 8002, and the region's called Solar Punk. And well, as you can see, I'm dwelling on that picture, so you've got plenty of time to take it all in.
And one more thing about Tina Bay, of course, is she's not only a fantastic artist, she's also a very, very, very sweet person. It's a joy to, be able to talk with her.
Yeah. I need to learn French.
You have to learn Spanish.
Yeah, I said that a few decades ago, and I started learning from French comic books, but time tells it doesn't last. Actually, there she is again, and well, she's in a little boat here, and okay, well, you can't really read that at the angle, but it's a nice picture anyway. There's the Solar Punk stage, I guess it is. Lovely setting, isn't it? You can do you can't really tell what's going on here, but you get a feel for her style. The building there, the trees, the shrubs.
Yeah, she has a very playful style, but at the same time, very, it's sort of, at least at me, it really touches me.
Yeah,
this kind of playful, artistic kind of style.
It's what I would just call comfortable, actually. Sort of comfortable. It feels like a comfortable place to be, even in a picture. Yeah, no, very nice. And we've got one of her animated GIFs here, which gives you a slightly different perspective. There's some contraptions of Tina's are wobbling, and more in the distance over there. Look at that.
Yeah. But that's what I said. It's really artistic, at least for what I understand. But it is at the same time has something playful to it.
Yeah. Well, this is an odd picture, really. I mean, it looks like somebody who's been in a war and had half his head blown.
It's not really playful.
But it actually looks playful too. It looks like a deliberate sculpture, which it is. I mean, it's not whether it's meant to be a comment on holes in the head. I don't know. Yeah, there's another one that's very typical of her look. Yeah, no, she does some lovely stuff. And well, that's more about the birds than the sculpture, isn't it? All right, let's see where we are here. There we are. Okay, the next one that was last Saturday, actually, by the way, but we didn't actually get it in on our thingy.
Whoa, new style sheet! Look at that.
Yeah, it was a slight problem, but the style sheets were getting a bit crazy. Yeah,
I see.
Okay. I obviously switched it for something other page. Right, Lib Descent. Right, this is on OS Grid, and oddly enough, when she posted this on Monday, the OS Grid, which we're on with this show, in fact, was still down. But it's been up for a couple of days now, and it's been fine. I've been in permanently for a couple of days, and that's it. And this article is about a freebie shop by somebody called Plastichancer Bade. Go figure. A couple of pictures of that. Sort of talking a bit about shopping later, actually. Avatar Fest. I don't know. I know this region, actually. Sort of... I know the name. I'm sure I've been here before, but look at the pictures. It didn't actually strike any bells. And I didn't have time to go and check. But I've been looking at an increasing number of venues on OS Grid, which of course means I don't even need the Hypergrid. But there we are. Oh, and I love this sort of. Yes, I've got some of this snow ready for this when the season really arrives. This is a bit like Halloween, where they start celebrating a bit too early, in my opinion. And do you know what's going on there? I did go to somewhere. The place I'll be mentioning later in today's special, so to speak. Saw a wonderful painting on the wall. It was animated and in 3D layers, and had a well, I can't even describe it. I searched high and low in their shop and everything. I could not find a copy of this
It
painting.
reminds a little bit of Harry Potter, where all the
Oh yeah, I love
where
those.
all the pictures were animated.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that about Harry Potter very much. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Now this was Tuesday's effort. I mean, as I say, she was quite well. Actually, so this is the last of the one she did this week. It's about somebody called Prince Armor. The Prince of Armor, what is his precise name? Fluctuates, they say. So she just calls him Prince. So, homage to the dead man, really. He's pretty new to OpenSim, 2 or 3 years. And his solar system build, we went on Safari to. We'll get to explore Trippy Maze of the Mind. Oh, that's interesting. I almost went over there to film that as a feature. I thought we'd been there already, but maybe not. Okay, I might do that in a week. Anyway, this is the pictures of him, basically. I think we know who that is. That's the granddaddy version as opposed to the baby version. That's Yoda. The other one's Grogu in it or something like that. Ah, see, I do know about these things. Yeah. Well, yeah, hang on. We did go to this region, didn't we? Where we
Sure
take
did.
off and
Right.
we have to. Yes, okay, I don't know what she's saying. Someday we'll get round to it. This is familiar. I thought this was familiar. Okay. Basically, he's got a big build of a space platform, and you can take a ship if you want, and then go and journey all the way out to Pluto or wherever it is. I got about halfway there, and then I got lost. And more important to the point, I couldn't find my way back. But I don't really have any aspirations to join NASA in the near future, so no real problem there. There we are. That's a bit more of a grounded shot on the ground, and yeah, and okay, well there's a spaceship, and it seems to have come down there. That wasn't on the visit I remember. Obviously, that's a spacecraft coming down to the ground. Looks like a Golden Gate Bridge, except just no water underneath it. Go figure.
Golden Gate Bridge must be a little longer.
Yeah. And I presume Name Thurza, this is the guy behind it all, standing by the fire. She usually includes a shot at the person behind it, so that's probably it. So that is the Safari Roundup for this week. They weren't safaris, but they were Thurza reports. Think of it that way. So let's see. While I've got the web pages open, we'll just move on to incidental news. Okay, this is a Hypergrid business, as usual, talking of Starsheets. I don't know why they have the headlines bleeding off the left-hand side of the page. It doesn't help me at all. Right, OpenSim World's Fair will be held in March. We've seen that. We've went to a safari on the site. We've seen some film of it and everything else. But obviously, Maria or Koloff, or her writer, has found a press release and sort of gone with it. And oh yeah, it looks like no, that doesn't work as a slideshow, unfortunately. Here we go again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something about the Starsheets here. They're defaulting to something I don't want at all. Oh God, that's an image downloader. Okay, let's go figure. Okay, well, that's about the OpenSim World's Fair. You can find that at hypergridbusiness.com, HYPERGRIDBUSINESS and .com there. And I should have mentioned that HG Safari, of course, Thurza's blog is at HG Safari. HGSAFARI.blogspot.com.
And I have that as a lower third, Mal.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, yep. James.
Every week we talk that one, so I have that one prepared.
Very good. Okay, this is Austin Tate's blog. Apparently he's now joined Blue Sky, like many people. The good news of the week, for those of you who don't know, is that the Guardian newspaper in the UK here finally told Elon Musk where to stick it and has left Twitter, or rather the X platform. And Austin Tate, who does a bit of recording and Twitter and his blog for OpenSim and Second Life too, for that matter, He too has now moved to Blue
So
Sky,
Mel,
which
does that mean I can delete the lower third for twitter.com/Mel Burns?
There's no point in showing it.
Can
Oddly
I
enough,
delete it though? Can I delete it?
no, keep it around. Just don't use this unless we need to. It's basically
Okay.
my Mastodon. I have a Mastodon, a feed at Mastodon Social,
Yeah, I have that one.
and that
Right.
actually automatically reposts to Twitter. But I never read Twitter, and it's like Facebook. I post lots of things to lots of places at Facebook, but I never actually open it and read it. It's sort of it's a time sink, and it's insidious, and it's well, I won't go into all that now. Anyway, Austin
Well, let me
Tate.
go when you get a Blue Sky. I can get that ready.
Oh yeah, that's Malbones dot bsky dot social.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the same format as everything. But I've actually got so that's so Austin Tate's there now, and a few people. I rely on a few people there, like Hamlet is one of the few people who's there at the beginning as well. Anyway, Austin blog here actually. This is a blog .inf.ed.ac.uk. Basically, it's an education address for the UK, and this is he's talking about OpenSim version. This is the back code for the grids basically, and on the Hypergrid, 0.9 and 3.1, etc. It's called Nessie. Don't know why they chose Nessie. Loch Ness Monster. I hope it's not a monster because I want to use it. Anyway, the development branch is now out and got both release and the developer versions using .NET 8. It supports new features such as PBR materials for objects, reflection probes, including mirror types, terrain PBR, etc., and all compatible with OpenSim specifications. This is totally separate from your viewer, by the way. So many of you would use most popular is Firestorm, of course. Your viewer needs to support these new things like PBR, but more importantly, this is the release of the simulator software itself that actually has PBR in it. And I won't go into that now, but PBR is a sort of advanced texturing rendering system, which uses a sort of texture map that can be lit up and everything like that. Okay, so you'll find that, as I say, at blog.inf.ed.ac.uk, and then /ATATE, which is Austin Tate, so sort of section, so to speak. Right, moving on. No, we did that one, didn't we? And Hypergrid business yet again, running off the edge of the screen. Okay, love it, don't we? Let's see if I can resize this live. I'm getting a bit annoyed with it. It's right at the edge. Right, her letters go right to the edge of the page, so they sort of fall off it. But we'll have to make.
Okay.
Sounded like me. It probably was me.
Yep.
In the echo chamber. Okay. I don't know where Maria gets this thing from. Apparently, OpenSim user growth has cooled down with chilly weather. Well, I thought in the US they were getting overly hot weather. Certainly weren't in Washington, I gather, from the reporters there. Here we were freezing our asses off, and then our reporters in Washington reporting on the, were down in their, well, not their underwear, but close to it, because it was so hot there. Go figure. The weather has been a little wonky lately, says Maria. That's a bit of an understatement, isn't it? Okay. Things happening in the country make me want to spend less time in the real world and more time in the virtual one, interestingly enough, but not enough time to make it to... she won't be able to make it to OCC this year, so there go all the stats. This is from somebody who wants to spend less time in the real world and more time in the virtual one. Come on, Maria, get your story right. Okay. What's more surprising is total active numbers went down by more than 2,700 users, which is... These stats are a bit odd because some grids, the Outworlds grids, for example, don't report, so they don't get included in the figures. And also, just imagine, I don't know that this is the case at all, but just imagine, we're coming into winter, but down in the southern hemisphere, they're coming into summer. Now, you'd think the winter in the northern hemisphere would account for, more users coming in. But, if you actually consider that OpenSim is global, there's different seasons in different parts of the world. There's some parts of the world that are having difficulty even getting online now. Now, I know where you are in Spain, Thursday. There were some days when you weren't caught in the flood, thank goodness, but your power and internet went out, didn't it? So there's all sorts of things that can affect people's access to the grids. Anyway, let's go. So she's got some of her graphs and everything. Significant over the past few months, the past year really, is Wolf Territories grid is really the most active. It's growing massively. Not for want of promotion, really. It's nearly 7,500 unique logins just in 30 days, which is pretty good going, actually. So she has a newsletter available now. It just says there's a new one up. And the usual thing, top 25 grids by active users. Wolf Territories is at top. OS Grid, our favorite here, where we are now, is, of course, number 2. And actually, Neverworld is down at 9. And I'm just looking at, Neverworld. Kindly is down to 22. New Life Italy is, I think that's just come in. Alternative Metaverse is still there at number 5. Okay. So, sorry. Oh.
Gesundheit.
Live on air.
Yeah.
Don't sneeze. Forgive me. Right. A review of online marketplaces too. There's a lot of product listings on the Kite Market, etc. And I would remind you very quickly about this site that we covered a few weeks ago, hypercat.info. So www.hypercat.info. And I don't know what I was looking for there, but that's my search results. I was looking for mesh eyes, basically. These bake on the mesh. And, I basically then did a search, and it's shown me, everywhere I can get free mesh eyes. And it's not all on one grid. It's or even like Kitely. It's these are all things that are free, but you've obviously got to go to the region. Like sometimes it tells you the region is down at the moment, a bit like Inworld does. Other times, it's fine. And you mouse over here, you can actually see the poster advertising the product. This is where I went.
Can you publish this URL in
Lower third
in the video or in you already did?
Yes. Okay. It's www. I don't know you need that, but
I cannot follow if you say www.
I'm getting it for so James.
It would be cool if James would.
That's why I'm reading. That's why I'm reading it out for James's benefit.
James is typing. James is typing thoroughly. Oh, I used it a lot. I was actually using it this week, looking for a friend wanted some Christmas things. And
right.
So,
it
works really well. I don't know much about the people organizing it, and so I know that copying and copyright is a big issue on OpenSim. So I'm curious to see if there'll be any controversy coming up around this site. But it works really well.
Yeah, I think it's simply searches, and it probably. It probably just takes whatever. I mean, the difference here for this one, for example, you can buy a copy or you can take a copy.
Yep, and there are for sale things there too.
This one, for example, is buy only. So there's it's presumably just searching for the items you might want and the grid that it's actually on, and usefully, it does tell you if the grid's offline. so you don't bother, like you can see here.
Oh, okay. Thank you, James.
Yeah. So
Okay,
yes,
helpful.
indispensable site this is. So
Yeah.
and I basically mentioned that because as you saw back at Hypergrid Business here, we've got a thing on online
Does
marketplace.
any one of you have an idea where she gets her information from to make up all these statistics and lists?
No, I
Do you
don't.
know?
Maria.
I think she uses some kind of
Who
bot
is she?
scan. Maria Koloff.
Oh, I thought Tasha was asking about Hypercat.
Oh,
No,
right.
I was
Okay.
asking about Maria Korolov.
Yeah, Maria used to get
Maria,
that from the grid owners themselves, and she would reach out to them and say, what statistics do you have? Yeah.
If you go to like the Wi-Fi page on a lot of grids, which is where you log in a name and register and things like that, they often tell you how many users are online, and if you need to know how long they've been online and how often they come online, and that information from those web pages can be scanned into a database, and I think that's how she actually gets her figures. But they don't seem to vary that much that often. I mean, she can't scan certain grids like the Outworld's grids because of the way they're set up. And there are other sort of web pages for grids that don't comply with the system, and sort of she only ever scans what she can get. It's a bit like
I just happened to catch that Craft World has lost 200 users from the last time, and it seems strange to me. And I will ask there.
You can see historic. Yeah, you can get historical records there as well, back to 2009. But yes, I think Craft World it reports is because it's been around. But when she started this Craft World, and a lot of these were all around then. It's when it comes to new grids and stuff. I don't know really how much on top of the. I've never even seen her in it come into OpenSim except for the OSCC roundup, and she's not even doing that this work. And as for David, the person she employs to publish posts, I don't know. I've never seen him in World at all. It's we'll have to see. She has another site called Metastella, Metastella, I think it's called, which is the science fiction site, nothing to do with OpenSim anymore. So that seems to be her main thing. But don't really know. But so we still check on the site because she does come up with. It's really the only place you can go to get these stats, even though they may not be wholly accurate. They may be selective. But that's where she excels. There's not much. Dream Grid, for example, is the Outworld's thing. So she says.
No, but it would be interesting to know.
Yeah, she can't get the stats on Dream Grid because they tend to be private grids. So the grids would have to be public to provide stats to her. Okay. Well, we'll move on to that. We can all discuss that or investigate that offline if we need to. And this is a homepage on the web at Open Simulator, OpenSim World, I should say, for a region called Castaway. And this is actually my sort of pick of the week for new sims and stuff. I'm not going to go straight into it now, but I am going to switch back to the picture portion of the thing. And before I run the film I took for this, I've got a couple of other things to run to occupy a little bit of time. Firstly, Adam Frisby, who was one of the founders of OpenSim, is the sort of chief operating officer, really, of a program called ScienceBase. But he was actually taken on by Linden Lab to try and clear up the mess they were doing with their mobile client. And their mobile client is now available to the public this week. And I want to get a hold of Adam to see if this Light Firestorm is used for both Second Life and for OpenSim. Whether this might, whether the interface for this might be usable by OpenSim as well. But I thought I'd just include, it's only 30 seconds, the Linden Lab advert, because the product may well be appropriate for us too. I've tried this out, by the way, on the iPhone. It doesn't work as a widget on the desktop, but it does work on the phone. And the draw distance is very poor, but for some of the communications are fine. One of the things I wish they did is that they did with an earlier client, not Radagast that I use on Windows, but there was one that was run by VVox for a long while that you could use, just to do communications in Second Life using VVox. And quite possibly even Sim 2, I forget. But one of the beauties of that was the mobile client could be logged in as well as your main client at the same time. Unfortunately, if you log in with this on your iPhone, Radagast doesn't work, or the Second Life or Firestorm don't work because it considers that you've already logged in. So there's no way, like Radagast, you can use on like the old VVox thing, you can use them side by side. And quite frankly, if I want to sort my inventory or contact people, Radagast on Windows it doesn't have the flashy graphics this has, but it's far more effective at getting to what you want done. So, going to take a little 8-minute break here, so to speak, to show you. Right, this is Karima Hoisan's latest piece.
Mr. and Mrs. Merlin came inside and were discussing that tomorrow would be their 10th anniversary. Let's do something very special, said Mrs. Merlin. Oh, I quite agree, he said, and I have an idea. A good breakfast is essential for our day. The birds are all said, excellent, said Mr. Merlin, so I will bring the carpet around. The carpet, she asked. Yes, the flying carpet. Hop on. I'm taking you, dear, on holiday, where we spent our honeymoon 10 years ago. Oh, said Mrs. Merlin, and she blew him a kiss. But this is a big city. Where are we going? Oh, this is just a shortcut, he explained. By the way, did you remember the Velcro? Of course, my dear. We can't fly on the carpet without Velcro. Well, let's test it on this skyscraper, shall we? Oh my, said Mrs. Merlin. As they went down the other side, they both shouted out, "Whee! What fun!" They giggled like children. Island on the radar. Oh, I remember this place. They had shark rides. Can we go? Of course, my dear. Anything your heart desires. It's still so beautiful. Look, not very different from before. Oh, such a special, unique spot you chose, Mr. M, for our honeymoon. And look, they still have sharks. I see the shark. Let's change into our swimwear, said Mr. Merlin. By all means, you can drive it, Mrs. M. Oh boy, me? It has been 10 years. Well, here goes nothing, she said. Hang on tight, Mr. M. I'll give it my best. Oh my, it's so much faster than I remember and totally uncontrollable. Hang on to the fin, Mr. M. Oh, I can't control him at all. He must be a young, frisky shark. You're doing just fine, my dear. I'm impressed with your shark driving skills. Turn it now, sharply, my dear. Turn it sharply. Mr. Merlin was hit in the head with the tail. She looked back at him quickly. You have your eyes closed, dear. Am I scaring you? Asked Mrs. Merlin. Not scared, just taking it all in, meditating on the sea. But if you like, we can jump off for a bit and float before we take it back. Oh, that feels wonderful. I could stay here forever, she said. Do you think we could just use magic to go back to where we started? Asked Mrs. Merlin. Of course we can. That's why we are the Merlins. What a wonderful idea you had, my sweet. Always so clever. Oh, I love the swing. Same one we had on our honeymoon. Thank you, Mr. Merlin. What a lovely anniversary for our 10-year milestone. Well, I need to nap now. Yes, much lies ahead for later, said Mr. Merlin. Join me, and both very exhausted, they fell asleep. Remember this jukebox, dear? Said Mr. Merlin. Oh, yes. Let's see if they still have some favorites. You look stunning, by the way, my beautiful wife. And you so handsome, my sophisticated husband. Look over there. Duckling food. Can we take some back? Oh, the one in the sack looks like our Cosmos. Of course we can. Caribbean duckling food is the finest. But let's do a quick change and enjoy some fine dining, shall we? Look at you, my husband, the height of style. Ah, not as elegant as you, my beautiful wife. I love this restaurant. Very retro chic, she says. This jambalaya is excellent, but such big portions they serve here. Soon we will go dance it all off all night. Oh, just like we did 10 years ago. We did. We danced all night. And it was like a dream. The waves, the stars, the painted night sky. I love you with all my heart, Mr. M. And I love you, Mrs. M. And all this world. Happy anniversary, my partner. And the night is still young, and I have one more big surprise. Something you have wanted all your life. Really? Well, what could that be? She asked. You will see soon enough. Turn around and don't look back until I call you. Voila, come see, your very own baby unicorn. Oh, I love her. I will call her Lily Bell. Oh, my Lily Bell. I am excited to go home and show everyone Lily Bell. But honestly, once again, you've given me the happiest day and night of my life. Well, it's always my pleasure to please you, my dear. Warp speed, please, Mr. M. And Mr. Merlin did his last magic trick of the night. And poof, before they knew it, they were back on their dock. Before they could even say, Lily Bell. We're back, everyone. We're back, shouted Mrs. Merlin. Come see my Lily Bell and try some gourmet food. All the ducklings and Mama Duck gathered around. Mrs. Merlin sprinkled some food in the water. Oh, look, they really are happy to see us. We've only been gone one day, but it seems longer. Look, Mrs. M, the duck food is magical. Some of them are starting to fly. Oh, they are. Look, they're floating up. Mr. Merlin let out a laugh. I couldn't help myself. I just put a little flying spell. Only temporary, don't worry. Oh, I knew it was you, giggled Mrs. Merlin. And they clapped and they laughed. And she looked at him and he looked at her. Here's to 10 more years. And they laughed again. And they clapped again. There's nothing like home sweet home. And Lily Bell nodded and nodded in agreement.
Well, Karima makes some lovely little movies. They're very sweet. They're very enchanting, seasonal. But the nice thing about looking at things like that over and beyond, we're given it 8 minutes of fairy tale time. Despite the characters and their lovely, sweet, cartoony thing there, what she does, she's a great artist anyway, but she manages to convey in the scenery behind it, the wealth of things you can build and make in Second Life and OpenSim. She actually films between the two, wherever the most appropriate. So you really get a feel what the story is going on for the locations that are actually built by, people in virtual worlds, so to speak. So that's that was called The Merlins on Holiday, and you'll find it on Karima's YouTube site. You might need to search for her. Now, while I segue here, Pet Shop has been very busy this week. She's actually published the first of a series of promo videos about getting a booth and stuff for HIE, which is coming up in the spring. It's interesting. James actually here narrates the English one, but Karima, who made that and whose voice you just heard on there, narrates the Spanish one in Spanish. So I've got a connection between the two things there. And so congratulations on your voiceover, James, as well, and Karima's version too.
Oh yeah, no problem. Also, those they're not on the HIE site yet. So
no, they're on Pet Love's site, which is Try to Fight.
But we'll be getting them on HIE this afternoon. So.
Oh, right. I actually downloaded the English one for the show, but something went wrong with the transcoding offline.
Oh, that's good.
So I'll just have to read it. I'll download it again, but in next week or something, I'll have it ready to show every week or two until we in the build up with the English version. Anyway, so yes, so nice. It was nice to hear Karima's voice in actual Spanish for once. She's in Puerto Rico. I didn't realize. So. Okay, so moving on to our spotlight of the week. We finally got to it. We came on late, didn't we? So 45 minutes later. Okay. Which I've just got to check out which is my first one here. For some reason. Oh, yes, they are all dated 16th now. Something went a bit wrong there for a minute. Okay, this was the first one. Okay. Right. This is a region you should be seeing on the lower third in a minute. It's actually the actual URL you can get there. It's a region called Castaway, and the grid is called agatha.avh. Right, you can see from the lower third anyway. So if those of you want to actually go into it. I have just realized that the window for chat at YouTube seems to be disabled for me. I don't know whether it is from anybody else on the team here, but it's not.
There's been no chat, Mel, so you're not missing anything.
Yeah, it's actually telling me it's disabled. So, in other words, maybe having it permanently open on the broadcast screen has annoyed them. I've closed it for now. Okay, fine. So Castaway, as you're seeing it now, is this is their page at OpenSim World. And it's got their address there, which you'll see on the lower third, basically. The guy behind it seems to be called Tom Lewis, and it sounds like a very English name. But I defended him and whatever, and he didn't speak a word of English. He's clearly French. The whole region is kind of French. So let's start playing with it. Tosha managed to see a little bit of this earlier too, and agree with me that it's a very beautiful, worthwhile region, didn't you, Tosha?
Yes. I really thought it was a very beautiful region. Very, very well done. And I was especially delighted about something that will not be shown in this little reel here, is the sound. The sound was perfectly matching. Everywhere you went, it had the adequate sound. It was really thrilling.
I should point out that although sometimes I did record these with sound, we have to mute them on this program because we have no guarantee that the region we're on is a streaming sound from a copyright source. So we can't record the sound.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that, but it's a shame nevertheless.
It is, yeah. I should really record sound for posterity, even if I can't broadcast it. But
if later on we have to pay so much for having showed the sound, or played the sound on here, that's not worth it. But just so beautiful. It was just you can just imagine it wherever, in the forest you hear some crackling, some wind, you hear some some different birds, and the different birds very clearly and from different sides. It's really fantastic.
It was certainly another thing
Mm.
where they're paying attention to detail. I'm not surprised that the sound is very pervasive too, because there's a lot of detail in all these little locations
Yes,
here.
yes. Oh, look at them.
Yeah, sort of. But I think I acquired a. I think I managed to acquire one
Little
of them.
dog with his bone in his arms.
I should say that when you visit this region and you go into the map view, you'll see that there's sort of four. You'll see it on the film here eventually. There's kind of four islands next to each other, but in camera, I just flip from one to the other, and they it's maybe a 2x2 VAR. I don't know. It's certainly not one sim. It's yeah, well, they're grouped together basically as one region. But if you zoom out on the map a little bit, you'll see that the same people have other regions nearby. And one is called Volt. Region's actually the same prologue address, so to speak, but the region itself is called Volt. And that's a huge OAR that they've re-resed from an earlier build, which is like a warehouse of mostly furniture, but they've got, if you want to go shopping for freebies, that's definitely a stop. And they have on the map, there's also a companion suite, sim, which I think was called Store, but they're lined next to each other on the map. So you obviously click on the map and teleport into them. And both of those are really useful for shopping too. I haven't included them in the film because, quite frankly, I've got about 30 minutes here of delightful castaway scenes, and would have been here all day if I actually filmed the stores as well. But the stores are there for exploring, really, and the one called Vault is really gigantic because it's on several floors, hanging up in the sky, and it's a bit of a nightmare to navigate. I don't know where they saved the ore from, but it looks like they've recovered the ore, but outside the environment it was originally in. So it's just like a warehouse in the sky. But you can do it. You can nose around in camera, basically. And there's signs everywhere saying don't pay for anything in OpenSim. So which more or less tells you that everything you can get is free, although that doesn't mean you can pick up a copy of everything. You can in the store, but not on the regions, these regions. But as Tosha was saying, it's really, really quite beautiful here.
Yeah, I was only a short time there, but I really liked it. It was really, really, really well made. A very artistic hand was at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually put it in our group Discord. I think, Discord yesterday, I think, but obviously you didn't actually get the link until this morning, which is a shame. Oh, I love this. It's like a really old theatre. I got a copy of this too. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's like a build of an old theatre. It's not a ruin, quite, but it's a replica of a traditional sort of theatre. Oh, and I've seen this before elsewhere, but this is a cute little ship. Basically, it's somebody's living quarters, and somebody's taken a ship and made it into a flat.
Yeah. Well, do you remember what we talked about last week when you showed us also a little movie of a sim that was everything was kind of trashy. So
yes, you didn't
beautiful
like
but trashy that I did not like. Well, on this sim, for example, I think it's perfectly well done. It's not everything trashy, but some things like on that boat that looked really a little worn and a little trashy, but it was perfect that way, and I was really delighted. Oh yeah, it's really big.
That's an aerial view of I couldn't get a
Yeah.
pan out far enough to get it all in, but it's like 4 little islands, but they may be on a sim each. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
but they're contiguous, so it's not a.
I will go. I will go there again, maybe tomorrow if I have time, because I was really, it really turned me on, that region.
Oh, great!
I I even like that they have like a church like thing, but when you go inside, it doesn't look like a church at all.
Yes,
I like that
I
very
kind of,
much.
yeah, I kind of a bit cynical about religions and things. So when you actually get you actually explore something, oh, it's not quite what I expected. It's quite
Yeah.
amusing. Yeah, the lot of the architecture is. I think you mentioned in chat to me earlier. So you're actually talking about the music, but it's a Gothic. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if Gothic's quite, but certainly some of these bits of build are Gothic-y. And I love this sort of little Stargate thing with a. It doesn't go anywhere, but it conveys the idea of the old Hypergate.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah.
That little bit of mist in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
the whole thing has something very mysterious. No matter where you go, the few things I saw in a short time I went, I thought, everything has a mysterious touch.
That's the landing point, if I recall. But I love the way that these paving stones actually went out onto the water. I don't know how they were held up, but it's past now. But the little bit there, we saw the paving stones on the water, and these really rustic steps and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get, it couldn't be more of a contrast to last week's, could it? But a bit of something for everyone, really. I don't know, really. I was wondering if I knew the name of this guy from anywhere, because I mean, obviously in Safari and things like that, Franco Grid, when it was going, used to be a really sort of big thing, and we had quite a lot of French connections, but I didn't recognize this chap's name or any of this style at all. Oh, there's a little teleports. These are internal teleports.
Oh yes, and they work so well. You barely touch them, and whoop, you are at the place that you're supposed to be. I really like them too.
And the the other thing is those signs. They've got like it's like a stretched skin, like an animal skin that they would use as a painter would use as a canvas, and they put the text on it, kind of thing. But one of the buildings here is it looks like it's been inhabited by Native American Indians, because it's got it's not something that's throughout the sim here, but or at least I think it was in this region, not one of the companion ones. But you went into, it wasn't a tent, it was like a building, and on the wall there were these stretched skins, and the a bow and arrow in the corner. It's made me think, I think that resident might be a Native American extraction, if nothing else. There were a couple of places where it suddenly got laggy and my camera sort of got a bit stuck. If you can't tell, but it speeded up again soon. Oh, this may be the one you're talking about. When you go inside, it's not a.
Yes.
It's not what you think it is. I think I got in there while I was on camera, or maybe later on.
Maybe it was not that one. I don't remember.
Yeah, there are a couple of slightly similar buildings. They're not the same. They're not copies of each other, but they're of an ilk, shall we say? And then lots of these strange things.
It's really an area worthwhile.
I love the shape of that little house there.
Yeah.
It's a rather unique kind of roof. Oh, and the wolf in his little cave there. That I almost missed that. Any thoughts from you, James, on this? I presume you're sort of watching it.
No, it's wonderful. Yeah. Real depth of design.
Yeah.
And all really integrated too. The theme is really consistent.
Yes, there's no sort of corners where you turn and you're in a different planet or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, that little shipwreck is in 2 different places, but the inside is different.
Mm.
But do you think? Oh, now this is a wonderful treehouse. Don't know whether you caught this one. Yeah, I definitely got it on camera, and whether it's here or in the final bit, I don't know. It goes up really quite a long way. I actually walked up it because I couldn't camera it the way I wanted. And there's little alcoves here with little bits in them. Ah, it's a nice one. Yeah, you almost, it's a bit like last week's in the sense that you feel like there's maybe a story here that we aren't told. There's enough common. Here we are. This is the bottom of the treehouse. And I'm going to attempt to, oh, that's nice too. Little model. Yeah, I used to have some tree houses. In fact, one of the first places I ever, I took in Second Life in the old days was a tree house. And it was a role-playing sim, so I came with all my tech toys and things, so I had to pretend to be the local wizard, because I had all these things from the future.
Seasick just getting up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it goes up quite a bit. So I'm panning in again, and right then I have to go up this bit. It's a bit like a game, a computer game. This, and I'm glad to say usually when I play with these things, I fall off, but they've done a good job here. There was no way I could fall off.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to the top, you think you're expecting a tree house, yeah, but it's a huge mansion in the tree.
Oh wow, yeah.
If you look at it from a distance, you realize that the mansion is wider than the tree itself. And of course, the mansion's got all these floors in it too. There's not actually a huge amount of decor in it at this stage.
That's funny.
I mean, it was just great, and gives me an excuse to I fly out through the window and you get the full, hopefully you get the full effect. Somebody left a ladder lying around there, as we see. Yeah. So like the sheer size of that and the windmill on top, I didn't even get to that.
Oh my God.
I didn't even get there. But like as we're panning out, you can just see how far that went up, how big the house on top is. It's just whoa.
But and it's practically hidden, you don't see it when you're underneath. It's really beautiful.
I'm glad that's not in real life because I get vertigo and I could never never dare go up there, But that was quite an experience. It's so well made. Yeah, I remember my treehouse living thing. They were really fussy on the region. They rented the treehouse farm, and about role playing, and it was a medieval role play. And I said, well, how about if I be the wizard? That way I can bring all my tech toys along and pretend it's magic and wizard stuff, So I channeled a bit of wizardry into things like TV screens and stuff, which of course weren't actually around in medieval days. Oh, there's that wonderful one with the roof again. We can't see it there, but drop it. This is oops. Yes, that's inside one of them. Or again, all the little knickknacks that make it into a home. That's the thing. I want the picture I wanted. Couldn't find it anywhere, but isn't that lovely? I couldn't take a copy, and I couldn't find it on sale in their warehouse. But I would love a copy of that, even on the backdrop here. I'd love things like that.
That also looks like a cool house.
Trying to hold back a sneeze here. Okay. It's okay. Yeah, this is. I actually had a copy of these ruined steps once upon a time. I think they're the same.
This really also looks very cool.
Yeah, everything sort of fits, doesn't it? It's
and the house before where you were inside that looked kind of crappy, the house, I mean, like old, but inside the furniture was so beautiful, as if you can really imagine a person gets that kind of house and does everything to make it comfortable and beautiful on the inside, and not also trashy on the inside.
Oh,
I
great.
really, I really like that. Perfect. Really cool.
And there's it. Oh, yeah, actually, you're right. There were two. Yeah. Yeah, that one. I opened the doors, so I must be going through.
Yeah, that's the place I
Yeah.
was inside.
So we get in. Yes, exactly. This is more like a.
You think it's a church when you're on the outside and you come in and it's
It's like
nothing like a church.
yeah, it's like a throne room of
Yeah.
like in a old castle or something. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Oh, and I got that's a great prop, a double-sided bookcase. I got one of them. Next time we have a book show, I'll use it as I'll use them as a backdrop. Yeah, very elaborate on the thrones and things there. That was nice too. It's amazing what a little bit of light and flame does to a warm up.
Yeah.
Just like real life, the fire burning in the corner in a freezing room, but it makes you feel a bit warmer when you look at it.
Yeah.
And these are very colourful now things here. More stretch drug thing on the teleport sign.
And everywhere those little cute looking teleport signs.
Yeah, that's an animal skin. Right,
Yeah.
and that was the second clip, and this is the third clip, which is to get back to a shorter one this time. Here we are. This started up again. I panned round to the edges somewhere, and I was up on the top bit, basically. So we're actually at a bit of a height there, and looking around on top of the rocks. They repeated that statue a couple of times actually, but still it's nice. And yeah, if I remember, that's right. And then you look down here and you realise that I'm on top of something. That Stargate kind of thing. I don't know what those are at all. Those stones, they're a bit like. Yeah, so that's it. This is all actually a build that's up on top of I won't call it a mountain because its scale is just a bit of a hill. But. Yeah, little knickknacks everywhere. Horses and cows as well, hidden away somewhere. No, and that's another. Yeah, there's another. Some of them I just panned.
Oh, and an elephant.
Yeah, the elephant in the water. I think. Yeah, that's. I think this is just. I think I just started going in different from the landing area. I just started off in a different direction here. So that reminds me of a construction in the Mist game. Well, too late now. But. An awful lot of these buildings, you get used to seeing these things around on OpenSim because it's, stuff that is free you can get almost anywhere. But there's a lot of these I haven't seen before, and I've actually become quite good at recognizing. Oh, I remember that one. I remember that. Not in this context, not in this place, but somewhere. But no, some lovely pieces of architecture here, really. In fact, I think in the OpenSim world listing. They filed it under a category of architecture. So
yes, they do.
Yeah.
But what I always find astonishing, surprising, that must be a whole of a lot of people that dedicate their time and their gotta be their spare time to making content for OpenSim, and beautiful content that people can just get on the places where you can buy for nothing, free
and
stuff in
and
OpenSim, and that's I think it's really fantastic,
and it's the ability to repurpose things. You can take something totally out of context here and take it and put it in a different context, and it will work somewhere else. And make them. The same object can have multiple meanings in different environments, basically.
Yeah. Or you can put different things inside, or you change a little bit the color somewhere, and you have a completely different building. Oh, this is the build that I
Yes,
was
okay,
talking about
I'll come back in.
before. You know, that is looks a little.
I love the roof of this place. We only
Yeah,
saw it briefly in an earlier shot, actually,
yeah,
but the roof I liked as well.
yeah.
Yeah, we're on a bit of repeat ground here, actually. So just reminding myself about the fox or whatever it is in its little hole. Just little touches, it really makes
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And I think I did do some very briefly at the end after I filmed. I did some walking around, but then I realised that it would take me hours to actually walk around it and film.
Mm.
It's ideal for, it's 30 minutes. These 3 films together are 30 minutes or so, and there's a bit of repetition, but it took that just in camera to get most of it in. There, another bit on top of a rock. And yeah, I think this is about where it finishes, if I remember. Maybe a few seconds more. But as I said, across the ocean there, not very far away, there's a whole load of other regions which are none of them are this picturesque. This is really a showpiece. But there's 2 regions where you can shop for freebies. Like I say, there's the warehouse one and the store one. Fold is the warehouse one, and there's a couple of other regions too that I can't read. Two or three of them are inaccessible. They're private and they're locked down. I just love that effect and that little miniature. But yeah, there's the other ones are actually built up. There is one that's very almost oriental that's built up. But nothing is the work on this castaway region, especially the size of it, is really special. So
It's really
I might
beautiful.
revisit
Very
again.
impressive.
I might revisit again for the other regions, but I don't think they'll be quite as exciting as this. So there we are at the end of the we're at the end of everything, huh? So upcoming next week. Nice picture, but I haven't got anything to say really. We're about finished. So James, James, anything else from you? Because we're about to close the show, I guess. We're pretty good on timing this week.
No, nothing in particular, actually. Beautiful builds, and I definitely want to head over there and check it out myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got the Earl. You can nick it off your lower third.
I can. That's right.
Nick it off your own lower third. Yeah.
Oh, I do have a question, Mal. Earlier in the show, you showed a mobile app, but I didn't catch the name or anything about it.
Oh, it's Second Life Mobile.
Oh, that was Second Life Mobile. Okay. Yeah, I've tried that.
It's been made by Adam. And basically he's made the interface which basically translates what the Second Life scene into a sort of mesh using Unity, which is something that Sciencebase have kind of done. They've taken stuff authored in Second Life, in OpenSim actually in Adam's case, and they've imported it in to Sciencebase, and it gets converted to a mesh for the purposes of Sciencebase, because Sciencebase doesn't support your pixel thing, but it can easily convert. And I think that was the idea, is sort of there'll be a Second Life view, a very lightweight, very very little draw distance, but it would convert what you normally see in you megapixel full screen Firestorm or whatever into something slightly low res, so it only works. So I tried to get it as a widget on my desktop, because my Apple desktop normally supports iPhone apps as widgets, but it doesn't work. So it is clearly designed to be a phone only. I imagine if it was bigger size, it wouldn't look very good at all. But I landed at my home sim on Chilbo, good old Chilbo. Remember Chilbo?
Oh, sure.
And what was immediately in front of me looked vaguely familiar, but I actually had to start moving for what was a bit further away down the street to even remotely come in, and it wasn't nearly as detailed as I would expect.
Right.
And then you can switch to chat, and you can look up your friends and things. You can certainly do chat. I don't know that voice chat works. I think it may just be text chat. And as I say, I'm a big fan of Radagast. both for I can log into. It's like having a Firestorm that's text only, but it does have graphics, and it's great for sorting inventory because you can drag and drop stuff around between a couple of inventory windows. But also, if you click on, say, a chair, right, in your inventory, you can actually, like on Sketchfab or on the web, you can actually rotate around the chair to examine it in midair, kind of thing. So you can see exactly what things are in your inventory without actually being in world and resing them. Whereas if you're in world, you can see what you've resed, but you look in the inventory and it says object, or better still, primitive, and you say, "Oh golly, I wonder what that is." And you have no way of knowing until you res it. Whereas in Madagascar, you can just click on it, highlight it in your inventory, and get this kind of little Sketchfab type, rotational, like a shopping site where they give you a model to examine close up, So swings and roundabouts. That's his real charm, I think, is inventory management. So Tosha, anything else from you, by the way?
Not really. I've been talking all night long.
Yes, we had a lot to. I'm glad you like that. I'm glad you like that. It made it because I was last week. I was thinking, I was trying to find the excuses for that region, and I thought it was interesting, but I could tell it was depressing. You put it that way, and despite the work you put into it, there were some regions you don't really want.
No, but I think you really altogether you're doing a great job, James, in looking up regions of interest. Really, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. Wonderful.
I must say.
Very good. I like a pat on the back. And I'm not James, by the way. I just realised. We get confused here, don't we? I'm just turning around and looking at my actual Inworld screen again.
We can tell our viewers I did get my sound card. I mean, my sound effects connected again. So.
Oh yes, you did indeed, and I guess he hasn't woken up yet, has he? I got a feeling if I say, "Hello, you in the corner, are you kind of hungry yet, by any chance?" Hey.
Oh.
Whoa. You are, aren't you? Okay. Yeah. Well, we're nearing the end of the show, so we can take care of that. Thanks for the warning. Good way of telling us when we've got to get off air before we get eaten by you. Okay, get you some food. Indeed. And there's another little critter. He's hiding under the table here. He's not a red one. He's a black one. But hello, Black Pussy. What you got to say for yourself? Oh, yeah.
Do you mean that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, cutie.
And well, I'm just coming in and I've just realized I don't think we got a sound for you, you poor monkey.
I was working on that, but I don't have that yet.
You're too busy doing your acrobatics to actually make a noise, aren't you? Look at that. Look at those acrobatics. Actually, I'll tell you, because while I'm talking here, I'm doing the camera work and I'm camming around my animals. I just realized I'm not filming this. You can't see what I'm doing. But I'm panning into the monkey and talking to him, then going to the cat and talking to him, and I'm steering clear of the canine. He sounds like he's in a bit of an aggressive mood today. You will get your food, though. You will get your food. It's coming. Okay, so it's time for us to depart, I think. Nothing else from James?
Nope.
Nothing else from Tosha?
Nope.
So nothing else from me either. Gosh, that makes a wonderful triumvirate, doesn't it? Okay, with that, I'm going to wish you all a very good morning. Oh, sorry, I've got to thank them now, haven't I? Thank you to the right-hand man, James Atlloud.
Oh, sure thing, Mel. I had just muted myself to play the outro, but all right, I'm back.
And thank you, of course, to my wonderful co-host, Tosha Ryran. Thank you, Tosha.
You're very welcome.
I was asking you if you had anything else to say, and of course I missed her actually. Thank you. Okay, this time I can do it. So wishing you everybody a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, or indeed a good tomorrow. Yes, depending on wherever and whenever you are. And for now, that's a wrap. Bye.